This is the first of the 2020 season, the late night PFF Forecast. We're going to talk briefly about our big takeaways from week 1, and then we're moving on to week 2. We're going to take a look at all the early look ahead, I guess, ish lines, and we guess the lines. We're going to talk about them and pick somebody we like. So that's fun. All right. I don't know. I had a hard time figuring out what my biggest takeaway was going to be because I thought there were a couple. So I'm interested to see what you picked as yours. But what do you think is the biggest thing that you've learned or biggest storyline out of week 1 so far?
Yeah, it's a good one. Well,
it's tricky.
Here's the question.
It's tricky.
Here's the question. What did we expect? Okay. So we expected the Vikings to suck, and they sucked.
Ding.
We expected the Niners to be slow out of the gate. We have,
much to my chagrin.
We have their under. They played a game where if they show up, Arizona played an eminently beatable game, and the Niners not only couldn't cover the number but couldn't win outright.
Correct.
We kind of knew the Jets would suck. We kind of knew the Panthers and the Raiders would be kind of a clusterfuck, and they both were. So a couple things that surprised me. I was surprised by how aggressive Seattle was throwing the football. Wilson dropped back to throw more than usual. At least that was my impression from watching the game. I haven't dug deep into it. The Rams were better than I thought they'd be. And there were some teams where I think the hype always gets to them week 1. So what were those teams? Tampa Bay, Dallas. I'm
not gonna victory lap it, but I did say maybe we're a little.
You did, and
excited.
Greenline showed a little bit of an edge on the Rams midday when that when the injuries were coming out, and then the news and that number was steamed, if you will. The biggest disappointment for me was Cleveland. That's my takeaway for today. Is I think we expected a little bit more out of the Browns, and they did it in spurts. Like there were plays that made you look like oh wow, Kareem Hunt's kind of nice. Nick Chubb's good. Jarvis Landry sure is a nice piece, and Austin Hooper is a good player. But damn, I don't know if Baker's going to make it, man.
In watching that game, the number of times that we said the following phrases: Baker, stop staring down the effing receiver. Or, oh my God, Odell Beckham is atrocious. Oh my God, Odell Beckham sucks. Oh my God. Like, he dropped passes. It was a disaster, man. And it reminded me of, what game did it remind me of? It kind of reminded me of the Falcons-Vikings game from last week 1, where they just came out and got the shit kicked out of them. Like, it just...
Yeah, but
they were dominated.
The Browns showed fight, though. I mean, they scored, and in perfect Browns fashion, they missed a PAT, but they were covering the number. And then they were driving at the end of the first half, and on a 3rd and 2, Beckham dropped. I think there were turning points in that game. The Falcons game had no turning point. There was no chance.
I guess. I don't know, man. But it looked to me like they hadn't practiced one time.
Yeah.
It really did.
It's a big I have a big question mark. It's a big question mark for me, and it starts now.
Baker Mayfield went 21 for 44.
Yeah, and it starts on Thursday, right at 8:20. On in 3 or 4 days. I mean, the fact of the matter is, we watched the Bengals. They were part of our lock of the week. That hit, by the way, because Burrow.
It was the teaser between
Bengals +9, Packers +8.5.
Just lock of the century.
Here's the thing. Here's the mark of a great teaser, by the way, George. The second bet wouldn't have covered.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, the second bet would have pushed.
You know how I'm aware? Because I took the Bengals +3 in the Super Contest.
And
thanks, Zach Taylor.
Well, it wasn't I thought, well, hold on.
How do you not give it one more shot? What are you doing? 7 seconds? You trot out.
Was it 7? I thought it was okay.
You trot out Randy Bullock, who
Yeah.
looks like he's been eating Skyline for the past 6 months.
let me look at Burrow for a second here, but like
wasn't great.
Burrow was under siege the whole game. I watched that game.
Yes, but
and he made some shit plays, like the interception he threw to Engram.
At the end of the game, though, he kind of got it together.
Yeah, exactly. And so my question though, Zach Taylor fucked up the end of the game with 6 minutes left when he called his third timeout in the second half.
That was bad.
That gave him no room for error. The last drive was masterful. The throw to Bernard in the flat when you knew that like there was a really good chance if he gets tackled in bounds, the game's over. The throw to Green was a pretty good play. It's just, obviously you had an offensive pass interference. I do think they should have given it one chance, but it was a chip shot field goal, and they were the better team in that game. The Chargers suck. And
They were. Are you ready for my big takeaway?
Okay, go for it.
Okay. My big takeaway is it was a close one. A little combo plate here, which is great quarterback play is what makes the NFL great. And we had 2 examples of that today, both of them from the NFC. The first, which is my secondary takeaway, and I thought you were going to take it, but you didn't, and I know why, was Aaron Rodgers was absolutely filleting the Vikings defense, which we thought would happen because the Vikings defense, it turns out, is filletable. They don't have anyone that can cover anybody. Devontae Adams absolutely torched them. He had 6 before review, subject to change, 6 big-time throws, absolutely dominating. I mean, if you look at his passing chart, I think he went like 4 for 6 on the deep right side of the field for 148 yards. I mean, he was just it was beautiful to watch, and the Rodgers revenge tour, if it continues, will be awesome, and I'm here for that.
Are you discounting him at all because of how bad the Vikings defense?
That's why it's not my biggest takeaway, is because I think the Vikings have a chance, as you have said, and I wholeheartedly agree with you, to be bad, really bad.
Yeah.
And if you can't cover in this league, man, you are toast.
And I think it sets up really poorly for them if you look at week 2. So here's the thing. They go a couple hours west here to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Colts are coming off of losing a game they were 8-point favorites in to Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Indoors again, right?
Mm-hmm.
We saw something out of, the Paris Campbells of the world, the Jack Doyles of the world. I think they're going to get shredded again. And
yeah.
And then they home to Tennessee. Like, they have a shit schedule, and it just gets I feel like the blueprint was just made for them today, and I tweeted this out before the game. I'm trying to obviously, there are a lot of people I know that are Vikings fans, and I tweeted out and I said, if the Vikings are really good this year, it's because Zimmer was the coach of the year, I think, because of all the things they had to overcome. It appears as though it's too much, right? The Packers have one wide receiver on their team, and they knew they were going. They had 2 drops, deep plays that were dropped. It could have been they gave up probably 600 yards worth of passing, and people hang on to the football.
Valdez-Scantling, although he made up for it on that drive. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers probably going to be the highest graded quarterback this week, and absolutely deserves it. However, was never under pressure, never had a receiver that wasn't open. I mean, so the reason that he's not my biggest takeaway is that my biggest takeaway is that the Seattle Seahawks
are the NFC's best team.
team. And that is why I predicted them to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not taking a victory lap yet, but I'm going to give you a data point that backs up exactly what you said. On 1st and 2nd down in the first 3 quarters, listen up very closely, Seattle Seahawks fans. Ben Baldwin, this one is for you, buddy. 1st and 2nd down in the first 3 quarters when the game was in question, so I'm using the first 3 quarters. Pass play percentage on 1st and 2nd down, the number 1 team, the pass heaviest team in the NFL were the Seattle fucking Seahawks.
Well, why do you think that is? Because we just,
You know why I think that is? I'll tell you why I think that is. I think that Pete Carroll, as much shit as we've given him, he listens. And he was like, you know what? My quarterback was really damn good last year. And yet somehow we ended up in these close freaking games. And because we ended up in so many of them, we didn't get the first seed.
Yeah, this is a profoundly un-Seattle game. Winning by multiple scores.
Yes.
And rushing, their leading rusher was Russell Wilson with 29.
And they were terrible running the ball.
And the affable Carlos Hyde with 23 and Chris Carson with 21 were the second. But here's the thing. What I love about this team is that like their weapons are amazing.
They're ridiculous.
David Moore was making plays, and Greg Olsen had a touchdown catch. Chris Carson had more yards in the air and 2 more touchdowns in the air than he did on the ground. And obviously Lockett, you got Metcalf over the top. The offensive line looked fine. I don't know. Their defense, here's the thing. So here's my one question. Do you think it's partially because of Jamal Adams? Jamal Adams blitzed today 11 times, the most ever pass rushes the safeties had in the Pete Carroll era. Do you think that because he knows that he has a defense, I mean, they did give up 450 yards today, but do you think
it's the Falcons.
Because yeah, right, he has a defense, do you think he just lets it rip more?
That may very well be it. It may be a combination of the two. They were, the Seahawks, negative EPA per run play, and they were over half an expected point added per pass play. That's absurd. That's absurd. So my biggest takeaway is that the Seahawks are legit, and in an NFC that is wide open, they to me are the best team, and it's good. I think this puts Russell Wilson in a position.
Let's pull
to be
it back
MVP.
though. Okay. Briefly, what could we be overreacting to?
Everything.
Yeah. So here's
The Falcons being absolutely atrocious.
Well,
yeah, of course.
I think the biggest overreaction team, and again, this might be our bias, although I have money on Dallas's under because it was a mathematically solid play. I still like them long term. It was egregious that they were getting 9 over 150, right? I think Dallas is the team for which the most people are will overreact.
Well, of course, because it was a Sunday night game. Everyone watched that game.
That too.
They're going to shit on McCarthy. We should talk about this real quick. The McCarthy 4th and 3
was the right play.
It was the right play by a mile. And the coach that made the wrong 4th down play was McVay on 4th and 1 at the 50-yard line. That was an atrocious play. It cost him about 6 win probability points by kicking that away. It was a disaster. And if it hadn't been for Michael Gallup getting kind of hosed on that deep pass down the left sideline, that looks way different. So I'm with you. I think overreacting and the Cowboys being bad. What about overreacting to the Rams maybe being good?
Yeah, I mean, I've been selling the Rams all off season. I mean, there was this is how crazy opening day can be, and I remember this vividly. Okay, in 2005, you remember Hurricane Katrina?
I do.
An absolutely dreadful storm.
It was awful.
The Carolina Panthers in 2005 made the NFC Championship game as Jake Delhomme, Steve Smith, our friend Steve Smith.
Love Steve Smith.
The Panthers lost at home on opening day to the New Orleans Saints in 2005 when the New Orleans Saints literally didn't have a place to practice. Like, shit happens on opening day, right? Just it happens. And I think the Rams, if you watch the game today, the same stuff is a problem. They can't throw when they have to throw.
Right.
They can't stop the run all that well. Their defensive backs, it's one guy. And I have no idea for the life of me. Jalen Ramsey made a bunch of nice plays. Why are you targeting him? Troy Hill's okay, but
fairness,
come
on the Amari Cooper play, they were trying to target someone else, but Jalen Ramsey was so good that he switched
that's
off.
true. You know, that's true. That's fair. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
I get you.
The Rams are, and here's the thing. Sean McVay got the basic strategy wrong again.
Yep.
Like, I still would fade the Rams, even though I'm happy that they won this game. And I also think another big overreaction, although we've been not as high on the Colts, and they will be behind the Tennessee Titans come tonight, I still think they'll be okay.
Okay, let's get into week 1. You ready to do this?
Okay, week 2.
So yeah. So here's how we do this. We have gone through and I tried, at least. It's going to be futile. Guess the lines. We're going to talk through each of these games quickly and pick the ones that stick out the most to us. We're actually going to write these up. Usually our column comes out on Thursday. We're going to write these up tonight because we care about you this much. So you can go check it out in the morning. But we find this to be really useful because the lines get worse and worse as the week goes on. So if you're
The
going to
limits get higher, but if you're not a high limit player, then this is probably the best time to bet them.
Yes. And at least you get some money down early. And then if, you want to bet more later, be our guest. Okay. I've sectioned these out into 4 different sets. Of course, we have our Skyline Chili Poop Fest at the end. We're going to start off with some better games, though. I don't know why. So there are not a ton of great games next week. So this got kind of thin. The Sunday night game is great. But we'll start off with Detroit at Green Bay. The Aaron Rodgers revenge tour continues. What did you put this line at?
I'm very interested in what's happening with this line.
So we guessed these, by the way, before the games happened.
Yeah.
So what did you put it at before the games?
6.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're closer to being right than I am. I obviously love Detroit. I had it at 4.5.
Mm-hmm. I am perplexed here, and here's why. Earlier today, before any of these games were played, Detroit was -6. Detroit was +6, -115.
Yep.
It's currently 5.5 where I see it.
Where are you looking? Because I thought we agreed on Caesars.
Oh, okay.
Didn't we agree on
I'm seeing it somewhere at 5.5, which I'm really perplexed.
Yeah.
At this. So you're seeing So
I think
it's 5.5 in what you showed me in the doc here too.
Yeah. 5.5, 6.
So here's the question. What happened? Like Detroit played well until some of their DBs got hurt and all that kind of stuff, and then and then inexplicably, we didn't even talk about them in the I throw that game away. It's the exact same thing happened to them last year in Arizona. I would lay off this game at this number, wouldn't you? I mean, there's
clearly
really...
I think it would be 4.5. I'm not overreacting to teams that lost off some crazy stuff. Kenny Golladay also didn't play. All right, next game.
Well, and also if DeAndre Swift catches the ball in the end,
dude, stop.
It's unreal. Stafford was a warrior again.
Atlanta goes to Dallas. So lost in Atlanta losing was the fact that Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley ate today. Absolutely ate. Atlanta at Dallas. Both these teams desperately needing to win. Like desperately, right?
Yeah.
Either of these teams loses this game and they are in. I mean, if Dallas loses this game, there are going to be some serious questions. Okay, so before the games were played today, I had Dallas as a 3.5 point favorite. I'm probably short here. What did you have it at?
I thought they were going to win today, although again, but Atlanta I thought would put up a better. I have 4.5.
Okay, so
it's a lot higher than that.
Way higher than that. It is 7. My goodness.
What do you think that is for?
I think it is that people thought, okay, the Falcons maybe could be good, but then they saw them get just boned, and it was like, all right, actually no, the Falcons are the same, and the Cowboys in a position where they have to win, it's going to be a kitchen sink game for them.
Well, here's a question. Like tonight, they ran the ball too much. I know Zeke was tough as hell, and he ran the ball fine, but I mean, I think people probably thought that because the look-ahead line was 6 before.
Also, these lines that we're looking at from Jeff Sherman at Golf Odds, those are before Sunday night.
Right.
So it could be a little lower.
But but I mean, prior to the week, it was 6.5, shaded towards Atlanta. I'm looking now. I don't know. I don't Atlanta. Yeah, I don't see it here. But that, so what do you think it could be now that Dallas lost? Do you think it's a 6 flat? Do you think it's a?
I don't know, man. I think I would have a hard time seeing it more than 5. To be honest with you, I would go like 4.5.
Yeah. Looking at here, let's talk. Tomorrow's the last day for Kickoff 30. If you want to get a PFF Edge subscription, one of the things you can do is you can look at our power rankings, which is kind of like a way to basically take these things, and they'll adjust after the week is over. But going into week 1, we had Dallas handicapped as about a point. We were a little lower on them, a point better than the average team on a neutral field. We had the Atlanta Falcons about a half a point worse than the average team on a neutral field. So games played in Dallas, you have to sort of negotiate home field advantage, but that's about 1.5 plus, maybe 2.5 points, 1.5 points, depending on what you want to manufacture.
Hence how I got to my number earlier today.
Yeah, exactly. So the question is okay, well, Dallas probably gets a downgrade from today. Mm-hmm. Atlanta probably gets a huge downgrade from today, given everything. So probably not a whole lot there. So there is maybe some value on Atlanta here. I don't know. I can't stomach betting on the Falcons, though. So.
All right. I have a feeling I know where you're going to be on this game because I think I'm in the same place. And that is the Kansas City Chiefs going to SoFi Stadium, which I had major FOMO. I was looking at the stadium. First off, I'm a little emotional. My family lives in California.
Right, you're
There's
an LA
some shitty
guy.
Situation going on there with all the stuff that's happening.
That too.
But so they're traveling. They're well rested. Kansas City at Los Angeles Chargers. What did you think this was going to be?
I early in the offseason, I bet Kansas City -6.5. Mm-hmm. Going into the week after, I thought the Chargers would be flat against the Bengals. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs were professional as hell. Yep. I thought it was going to be 7.5.
Okay. Do you want to hear what I thought it was going to be?
What?
13.5.
Really?
Are you the fucking... I'm sorry. Let me compose myself. The Los Angeles Chargers
of Anaheim
should have lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. Dude, I don't know how I can make this more clear to you.
But people are...
The Chiefs are going to destroy the Chargers.
I don't disagree, but here's the thing.
They are going to eat them for lunch.
If you look at we have Kansas City prior to last week at 6.5 points better than the average team. We have the Chargers at 1.5 points worse. So that's 7.6. I would say very little home field advantage is where that 6.5 number came from.
There's no home field advantage.
So, but look, I bet it at 6.5. I'm on the same side as you.
Yes.
It is currently 7.5 though.
If it was 6.5, I would be taking out a loan from SoFi right now.
So here's a question. Kansas City -1.5 is a great teaser leg. Let's be really honest with that. Just basically they have to win the football game.
We might double up on the teasers.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you explain to me why it's less than 10 points?
So I think the betting market's always overweight defense.
Of course.
And the Chargers were very good defensively.
Yes, against the incredible Cincinnati Bengals offensive line.
But again, you and I look at the game differently. Some people see how under siege Joe Burrow was.
Yeah.
And they say,
wow,
the
this is going to happen to Mahomes.
Wow, look at how good Joey Bosa is, right?
Yeah.
And they don't realize that it's 66% offense, 34% defense when you look at what actually happens. And it's probably even more when the guy's a rookie quarterback. And for me, the Chargers needed to get a stop, and they couldn't when they had to the most. So I agree with you that I think the Chargers start their path to 6-10 next week with a loss to Kansas City and quite,
there is
heavily so. But there's a couple things that will decrease this line from a statistical standpoint. It's familiarity, right? It's the, that's it. That's it. And Kansas City has the extra rest, blah, blah, blah.
Tyreek Hill is going to be just burning
Kansas City
dudes.
not only has extra rest, and the Chargers played at 4 last week, so.
Nice shirt, by the way. Where'd you get it?
Dadbods.com.
Does it come with a stomach tattoo that says "Feed me"?
Exit that out, Tyler, please. I'm just kidding. No.
Zeke's tattoo is incredible.
Zeke is incredible.
Okay, all right, let's move on because
So is that a game that? See, I don't like laying more than a touchdown, but at the same time, I do think. So we're also trying to predict what Green Line will like. I think we might not show an edge, but I do think our line is going to be bigger than the betting
I've never
line.
felt better.
Yeah. I have it at 6.5.
A very good game is Baltimore at Houston. Houston obviously is well rested. Baltimore
is well rested.
Baltimore may have ended the Cleveland Browns franchise today.
They helped us by going under in that game by basically taking the foot off the gas.
That was so bad. Okay. before the Baltimore Ravens destroyed the Cleveland Browns, I thought that Houston would be a 4.5-point underdog at home.
Yeah.
What did you think it was going to be?
Probably 6.
And it is 6.5.
Yeah, it was 5.5 before the day started. So did Baltimore really do enough today? I guess here's the issue. These things gravitate towards key numbers, and 6 is a key-ish number.
So here's.
I mean, are you betting Houston at +6 then?
Oh man. The really tough thing that I have with this is that I worry that some matchups are just bad, and this is just a bad matchup for Houston.
It's not a great match. Here's the thing,
and I'm a little worried about Houston's offense, to be perfectly honest with you.
Today we saw in Baltimore how valuable a non-quarterback, non-receiver, non-DB can be to a team that's already it's how valuable that the third ace is in a made hand in blackjack, right? It's like Calais Campbell was dominant today, right? And when your offense can't be stopped and the other team's offense needs to score every possession, and Calais Campbell can put his freaking hand up and bat a pass into Marlon Humphrey, Defensive Player of the Year frontrunner, hands, then that is valuable, right? He was nowhere near as valuable to Jacksonville as he will be to Baltimore. That was a huge deal.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not confident in Houston, despite the fact that I was under on this line. Okay, next game. I'm very much looking forward to watching that game. This game is the Sunday night game. New England, Cam Newton threw the ball only 19 times. Didn't need to because he just ran over Miami.
Yeah.
That was very cool to see. At Seattle, I guessed that this would be 3.5. Seattle favored.
I thought 2.5, and you were more. I think
I'm dead on.
It opened at 3.5 today. Well, it was 3.5 before the games played today. It appears to be 3.5 again. That number's prohibitive. I think Seattle kills them, but I don't. I'm not laying that price is like a bit much for me. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: New England can win games like they won today, where you're already ahead all the time, and Cam is a terrific front runner, right? Like when another team is on their heels, Cam beats the shit out of them. But I wonder, can he score 35 points alongside of Russell Wilson? No, I don't think. Not with those receivers; they're terrible.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, I guess the only way that New England beats them is if Seattle slows down for them. Right. And their DBs play amazing well. But I get where you're coming from. I like it. 3.5 is tricky, though. Yeah, I mean, if it lands 3, we're all pissed. And, all right. You ready for the next slate of games? Yeah. So no picks out of the good games yet. Oh, I am all on board with Kansas City. Okay, so you like Kansas City minus 7.5. I have put so many stars and asterisks next to Kansas City. Okay, I can ride with that maybe. All right. Let's get to so that was the Wagyu slate. This is the prime slate here. A very interesting game. The Los Angeles Rams at the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm kind of fascinated by this game, given how these two went. Yeah. Carson Wentz, one of the lowest graded quarterbacks so far, pending review. It was ugly. I believe he had one of the highest rates of negatively graded throws. He was dreadful. It was not good. Took a ton of sacks. Chase Young ate Jack Driscoll for lunch. It was not good. The Jalen Reagor pass was nice. Okay, I have Philly at home as a 2.5-point favorite to the Los Angeles Rams. What did you have, Mez? I had them at 1.5. Okay, it is 2.5. Okay. How really? Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts? Well, here's the thing. I already bet LA +3 once I saw the Rams come out and not look like a doormat. Total disaster. Let me look at early. It was 3.5 before the games today. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Philly took a hit here. LA seems to. It hasn't crossed the key. Well, it did cross the key 3 then. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. similar to how. So Alden Smith was impressive, but overall, maybe that defensive line we exaggerated. Peter King really was excited about him. Maybe they just haven't gelled yet. But we know that Philly, in the past, just up front has ruined the Rams and made Jared Goff look really bad. Does that worry you at all? Or are you buying into the Jared Goff?
No. I just don't think Philly's that good.
Dude, the Rams came out and didn't throw the ball past the line of scrimmage for the entirety of the first half.
Right. I don't think Philly's defense is any good.
I agree.
But
I don't think the Cowboys defense is any good.
No, but I mean,
here's what would worry me if I'm Philadelphia is Aaron Donald had like 9 pressures tonight and maybe doubles that against the Eagles.
Right. I mean, that's why
that would worry me.
That's why I took Rams +3 because I don't think you can trust the Eagles to lay any points in the NFL currently.
The only thing is, like, again, desperation breeds, a little bit stronger play, and they are going to be desperate.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Well, actually, because the Cowboys lost too, so.
Well, let me give you an expression here. They've squeezed all the juice out of the orange in Philadelphia for the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. Have they not?
Yeah, they have. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, there's maybe nothing left.
Mm-hmm. Minnesota goes to Indianapolis. The Colts. I was in on Gardner Minshew. You remember this? I was bummed.
I was a little bit of a denier. Yeah.
I
didn't put any money on it, but I certainly was not.
I was really bummed that Greenline didn't. Miles didn't like this pick, but it makes sense. C.J. Henderson, no one could have foreseen him balling out.
Yeah.
Minnesota at Indy. I have Indy as a 3-point favorite.
Yeah. So truth be told, I bet this game Minnesota +2.5 a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. What'd you guess it was going to be?
I guessed it would be 3.5.
Okay.
And
it's 3.
Okay.
Do you have? I obviously have no lean on it whatsoever.
Look, I'm prepared.
I know you think Minnesota's just going to be dog.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, Indianapolis
this feels like a 3-point game to me.
Indianapolis has a lot of the same problems. Their quarterback is erratic. Their secondary can be exploited. I mean, Xavier Rhodes had another pass interference penalty the other day.
Shocked.
It's like I've seen this movie before. They're not neither of these teams is as good as their Vegas, expectation going into the year. I think a couple things though. Reich's a better coach than Zimmer. Rivers is a better quarterback than Kirk, especially when his back's against the wall. Mm-hmm. The weapons are better for Indianapolis, and the defense, even though they're creaky, is better for Indianapolis than it is for Minnesota. So I would, if I had to, I'd probably get off this game and lay the points with Indianapolis or maybe go the money line here, just because Minnesota was as bad as the worst case scenario I pointed out this offseason. Like, they're a fucking 5-win team.
They're not good. I'm with you. If I had to go one side of that game, that's where I would go. New Orleans goes to Oakland. I don't know why I put this in this section, but they
Las
do.
Vegas.
Ooh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to mess that up all the time. At least I've gotten better at football team. I have New Orleans as a 7.5-point favorite.
I said it would be 6, and we're both wrong.
I'm both wrong.
Going into the day, Vegas is 4.5-point dogs.
And they're 5.5 now.
So today's play.
I got to tell you, I was really not encouraged by Drew Brees.
Yeah.
It was not good.
They are.
The Bucks.
Brees today was a 19th graded quarterback.
The Bucks lost that game.
No, 17th if you count other guys. But
the Bucks lost that game.
Yeah, for sure. They cover the number if Brady doesn't throw a pick six to Norris Jenkins. That is the noodleest of noodle arms I've ever seen.
Is Brady washed?
I think Brady is too competitive to be washed.
I don't think he's washed.
But I think Breeze, there's a chance he's washed. I don't know how
you could have expected the Bucks to come out and just be on the same page.
Well, yeah. I was
Evans
encouraged by how much
not
they
himself.
used.
They targeted him once.
Yeah. I was encouraged by how they used O.J. Howard.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gronk's going to stink.
Dude, he looks about as
He
agile
looks
as Steve
terrible.
Palazzolo.
Yeah, he looks terrible. The offensive line was garbage.
Godwin's a
But
monster.
we talked about this on one of our podcasts, or maybe it was I was on with Bobby Hebert. It was like I was like, Tristan Wirfs is this athlete, right? But Cameron Jordan is a man, right? And and in that first game, it's gonna be hard.
So is the Breeze, because I'm torn now, like having seen Breeze play, like before the games you had said you can get 5.5, I would have taken it. But now I'm a little concerned. Here's the question though. The Bucks on defense are good. They have athletes, they are good. You know what the Vegas Raiders are?
They're bad on defense.
Bad.
Yeah. The problem is,
the Saints always kind of play sort of shitty week 1.
This is like the first time they've covered on week 1 in like 10 years, it seems like.
So I'm torn on this one. Let's move on.
Yeah. I
Den,
bet it.
Pitt, Broncos, Steelers. We haven't seen either of these teams play yet.
Yeah.
So this is a true guessing of the lines. I have Pitt as a 4.5 point favorite at home.
Yeah, I said 5.
Okay. And it's 6.5. Oh no. You know what that means.
And it opened at 6.
You know what that means. That means we're fans of the Drew Lock experience.
Yeah. I'm going to wait.
Same. All right.
Yeah.
We're on to the next section of games, which is you know what? Just get the burger section of games.
It's the beef that's inside of the
it's like, look, if you don't treat this as a steak and you grind it up and you put cheese and bacon and pickles on it, it'll be pretty good.
It's the burger in the In-N-Out burger.
Stop.
Come on, you can't tell me that's good beef. It's no different than other beef.
Yeah, okay. The In-N-Out section, also known as the Odell Beckham section.
No, that's the Skyline Chili section. It's a different section of.
I guess that's true.
That's saved.
Yeah, I don't. Yikes. Okay, Cincy at Cleveland makes this because it made it because of Burrow versus Mayfield. I don't know if it should still be there. Burrow, I think, deserves it. Baker does not. I had Cleveland as a 5.5 point favorite going into the day. I want to change that so badly now.
I said Cleveland was going to be -8.
Wow.
And
we were in between.
It was -7.5 to open the day. It is now 6, and you have to. I believe you have to lay a number. You have to lay a bit. Okay, so you have to. So you have to lay a bigger number if you want to lay 6 with Cleveland. I'll say this: Joe Burrow showed me something today. I don't know if it's enough to be
some scruff.
No,
I was not a fan, by the way. A little too light.
AJ Green was healthy and performed. Mm-hmm. John Ross dropped a touchdown pass that probably would have put the game out of reach early. Would have won my
fantasy league.
You got nothing out of T. Higgins. You got nothing out of my guy Tyler Boyd until late. The offensive line was terrible. Bobby Hart was too busy arguing with people about coronavirus on Twitter.
Bobby Hart is it's rough.
So here's the question. So Cleveland matches up. Cleveland's garbage in the secondary. Andrew Sendejo's running around back there.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Their corner, Greedy, was out today. Mm-hmm. Can Cincinnati exploit that? I don't know. But I do know that Cleveland's got some guys up front. Sheldon Richardson's good. Myles Garrett's good. Olivier Vernon's good. And we're going to get a rare Thursday night game where neither coaching staff has earned necessarily the right to be like, hey, this is a better coaching staff.
I will say this. There's no way in hell I'm betting Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm not laying points with Cleveland. No way.
There's a little bit of Joe Burrow that makes me feel like when I bet against Deshaun Watson, where it's like somehow he's going to have a chance to win the game at the end of the game. And you can certainly say that Cleveland has some athletes on defense, but the Chargers do as well. I mean, he kept it close with a pretty good Chargers defense, a very talented one. And yeah, the Chargers offense isn't great, but neither is Cleveland's. So I kind of like Cincy here at 6.5.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on.
You want to put that on a list?
I gave it a little asterisk here.
Okay.
Because I'm not finding a ton of things that
I have one.
I know. I have a feeling I know which one it is. All right, Jacksonville, Tennessee. It's in Nashville. What'd you have this at?
10.
Okay. I had 12.5 before. I was obviously expecting Indy to win that game. They did not. So I'm very curious what it is now.
It is 9.5. Was 11 earlier today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, look, Tennessee has always matched up better with the Jaguars because the Jaguars have always been a fast defense that's kind of soft. Tennessee is not. For whatever Tennessee is, they're not soft.
This is what Derrick Henry eats.
You know what I really like in this game? Over 42.5.
Oh, that's the total?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like
because
that.
Jacksonville kind of
They're spunky.
They're spunky, and Tennessee
Gardner's gonna
like
keep this close.
Tennessee. Yeah. So I don't know. Let's think about 42.5.
Next up, Carolina goes to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, you can't. Was Teddy not plucky today?
Oh, God. I knew this was coming. I had Tampa Bay favored by 10.5 going into the day.
I said 8.5.
Wow. You had no respect for Tom Brady before the game even happened. Yeah. Dude, Tom Brady being less than a 10-point favorite over Teddy Bridgewater is ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah. But it's 8. So there you are.
Are you going to lay it with Tampa Bay here?
I kind of want to. I think they smash. I think Vegas is bad. The Las Vegas Raiders are not a good football team, okay? It's a difference in class. It's like having not played in a real game yet.
Okay. What if we put that in a teaser with Kansas City?
Wow. I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
Really like where your head's at. Okay, San Francisco, my Niners, who I painfully had to admit were going to regress this year, lost to the Cardinals. It was not pretty. I will say this. Kittle banged up. No wide receivers. Give my man Jimmy G, give him a beat here, okay? Give him a beat. We know he's a second-half guy. Give him a second. They're in New York to face the Jets, who are the worst team in the NFL, as I predicted. The New York Jets, I think, will be 8.5-point underdogs.
I said 9.
What is it?
Actually, today it was 6. It's now 7. So today's games made people think that maybe the aberration was all on San Francisco's side.
Yeah. Give me the Niners. I want to see how healthy they are because I am a little worried about George Kittle. But this feels to me like a game where they win and Jimmy Garoppolo throws 10 passes.
Yeah. The Jets.
Dude, the Jets suck.
Yeah. The offenses in the two offenses in this game are going to be garbage. Jimmy G was awful today.
It was not good.
I'm sorry. And Darnold was no better. Honestly, the fact that this game's total is 43.5 and Tennessee Jacksonville's is 42.5 makes zero sense to me.
It does make very, very little sense. Okay, we're moving on to the Skyline portion of the podcast. These are the 3 games.
I call it the Odell section.
Yeah, you've already made that joke.
Sorry. It's late.
It's okay. 2 times is twice as nice. Buffalo at Miami. I have Miami as a 3-point underdog.
Same.
What is it?
It was 3.5 to open the day.
I see 4.
So people are buying in
on the Josh Allen experience.
Yeah. See, this is the one you thought I'd like, but it's actually not the one. But I do like Miami here +4.
Same.
What's that?
Same.
Okay.
I don't really want to talk about this game a whole lot other than to say I thought Josh Allen did some. So if you're looking at this Josh Allen game and going, okay, he was amazing, you're not watching the game. Like, he fumbled a bunch. He threw a couple of passes that should have been intercepted.
People are going to hate us.
However, I will say this. He made a ton of plus plays as well. And that's what you're hoping for with Josh Allen. It's not, you're not going to get the negatives out of his game. That's just the way he plays the game. It's kind of what makes him fun. It makes him polarizing. What you can't have is you can't have all those little negatives and then no positives. And he made some positives today, which I thought was really encouraging. Now the Jets, they're like worse than Clemson. So, you know,
did he actually only average 6.2 yards per attempt? He had 2 turnover-worthy plays, 1 big-time throw.
Yeah, I mean, it was a typical kind of Josh Allen.
He just had a ton of volume because they didn't run the ball to other people until the second half.
Yep.
They let Mose run with it the first half.
All right, here we go. The New York Football Giants are going to Chicago, where Mitchell Trubisky brought the Bears back, baby.
Bears going to be 2-0. Think about it.
Biggest takeaway from the Bears game is Anthony Miller is a baller.
And Anthony Miller showed up on Ben Brown's blow-up piece. So that article did really well. But, you know, it was like 70% of them had great games.
Dude,
like,
by the way, if you're not listening to the Daily Betting Podcast, Ben is doing a large majority of those. He's awesome. And so you should go check it out.
Yep.
We do the Sunday morning one. I'm excited for those going forward. I'm very excited.
Yep.
If I hadn't eaten way too much last night, I think it really would have been great. I ate so much that I thought Chris Conley and the Jags were favored. And I should have been. I was right, clearly. All right. I have this as a pick 'em because both these teams are bad.
4.5. Dude, the Giants, we don't know the depths of how bad the Giants are. The Giants are the worst team in the NFL, probably.
No, they're not.
Yes,
no,
they are.
No. You can throw all the Daniel Jones shade you want. There's no way he's worse than Mitchell Trubisky. He is the better quarterback getting points in this game. Are you complete? All you're doing is fading Joe Judge then?
That defense is beige.
Okay. But, you know, offense matters a little bit more.
Yeah, and their line
See how
stinks.
tempered that was?
Their line stinks. Their receivers are good, but their quarterback sucks.
I see 5.5.
Yeah, it's 5.5.
Give me all of the New York Giants.
You're going to bet the Giants now before you've even seen them play.
Look, it's not something I'm really excited to do, but I will fade.
I mean, I'll tease them up to 11.5.
God, you're all on the teasers.
I don't think they'll lose.
So it means that the game that you are really excited about is the Washington football team, who I have not been happier for a team
than the football
of
team.
Players and coaches to win than I have for that team of players and coaches. Because that was awesome.
One thing I love to do is take a team that we've bet on, which, by the way, we went 1-1 today. We had the Browns that lost. We had the Arizona Cardinals. They not only covered, they won outright. I love to take a team that we win with, that we should not have won with, and fade the shit out of them the next week. And the Cardinals are that team. I'm sorry. They were horrible. They were the only thing that exceeded the conservatism of the Arizona Cardinals was the conservatism of the 49ers.
Yes. And so I thought before the day, thinking that the Cardinals would lose, and so would the Redskins, but they'd keep it close, that the football team, that the Washington football team would be 4-point underdogs to the Cardinals. What did you think it would be?
I said 6, and it is now 7.
Ha!
It is now 7.
Stop.
7 is way too many.
Stop it.
7.
That's absurd.
Are you telling me
7?
An offense that won't throw the ball?
I agree with you.
2 yards downfield is a favorite by a touchdown
with you.
against a football team?
So here's the only worry. DeAndre Hopkins was uncoverable against a defense that actually has real corners. The football team does not have real corners.
It's a real football team.
This is a real football team. I'm with you. I love this one.
Dude, okay, let's pick 2 of these.
Okay. I am all in on Kansas City giving however many points you need them to give. They are going to smash the Chargers.
Are we overreacting to the other day?
Overreacting to what?
To them just absolutely fist pounding the Houston Texans.
Yeah, they didn't even play well. Patrick Mahomes did not even play well in that game.
Okay. But are you worried about Charvarius Ward's broken hand keeping him out?
Patrick Mahomes right now is not even in the MVP conversation. He is going to put himself there in this game.
Are you concerned about the Chiefs' defense being undermanned always?
No.
Are you putting them in a teaser, or are you betting them -7.5?
I'm willing to do both.
Okay, both.
Give me another one.
Okay, I'm Washington football team +7.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have a third.
So you're taking Kansas City minus 7.5.
Let's do it.
Washington football team plus 7. Okay. All right.
So
I Cincinnati plus 6.5 is fine. It's not good enough right now.
Okay.
Tennessee over 42, not good enough right now. Tampa Bay minus 8, not good enough right now. I'm sorry. They're not good enough.
Okay.
I'm not fading Teddy.
All right.
Teddy's against the spread record, by the way. No longer unblemished.
What about Miami?
Look, here's my thing about Josh Allen. We have so many reasons. We're fading him a ton already. What I don't want to have happen is for us to write an article and say Ryan Fitzpatrick's better than Josh Allen, and then for it to get dunked on.
How do you know that's what I'm going to write?
Because I know.
Because I've done it before.
Yeah, like duck. Do you see the duck tweet got like recirculated after you got cut?
Yeah. It's pretty great.
Okay, but here's one
You know me, nothing gets to me like Twitter does.
No, you're right. What if we went, and listen, this is a hypothetical. What if we did Miami plus 10, Giants plus 11.5?
Ooh.
Both of those games are going to be pretty low scoring, I think. The Bears are cheeks on offense. The Bills, like, they kind of keep that. They let the Jets, they only beat the Jets by 10, and the Jets stink.
Yeah. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. I'm down to write that up.
Okay, so we'll tease.
Maybe I'll squeak one in between the time we finish recording and the time we publish. You never know. You should check out the article.
Yeah.
All right, that's our podcast. We'll see you guys on Wednesday evening, actually really early Thursday morning, because that's when we're recording.
The tape train.
Peace.
Thanks for watching the PFF YouTube channel. And if you want to subscribe, all you have to do is push the button. Don't forget everything you get. A little fantasy, push the button. A little green line for the gambling aspects of the game, push the button. College football, push the button. The YouTube channel from PFF.